crazy torque. Like I basically just floored it and it was just burning. I had to let off a little bit and then get into it again. Alright, we are back on the Crown Vic today, and today's goal is to put a air-fuel ratio gauge, meaning we're putting this gauge on, we're running some wiring, we're adding a sensor. And the good news is I already installed the downstream sensors and they're not going to be used, so I can remove one of them, screw that O2 sensor in for the air-fuel ratio, route it inside the vehicle, and mount the gauge somewhere in the middle, I guess, on that 3-pod from Ford Racing. And eventually I'd like to move the oil pressure gauge that's out here on the hood inside the vehicle as well, just so I can have all 3 gauges inside. So first thing we're gonna do is get underneath the car and remove one of the 2 downstream sensors. I think I'm gonna go on the driver's side, but let me take a look and see. Okay, so there's a driver's side downstream and there's the passenger side downstream. I think either one I go with is gonna be okay. I'll just have to drill a hole going inside the vehicle, and that shouldn't be too bad. I can just drill it straight through the floor, looks like, and it'll be good. Alright, so I got the air-fuel ratio gauge installed and the sensor, but I'm gonna have to redo it. Right now it's reading 14.5 with the vehicle off. When I start it, it starts going up. So I put the sensor, basically I took the O2 sensor, the second O2 sensor out on the driver's side, and I put it in. I put this new air-fuel ratio sensor in there, and I think it's too far, and I'm gonna have to move it up closer. So I'm gonna remove the driver's side of the exhaust, lower it, drill a hole, and put the sensor closer to the front, closer to the header. That's what I'm trying to say. Because right now, see, it's reading way too high. It's not even showing. Everything's super hot because I just drove it down the road. But that is where I put the air-fuel ratio sensor. Basically, I took out the original O2 downstream and I put it in there. So talked to my boy Nick at Whipple. He's the one that's actually tuning this unit here, and he's been so much help because I don't know what I'm doing, and he got this thing running and driving for me on a stock BCM, which is awesome. So there's an upstream driver's side. I think I'm gonna go ahead and weld somewhere over there by the header, weld a new bung, and put this new sensor in there, and that way we're gonna have an accurate reading, and we can go off of that. So I'm about to do that. I'm gonna let it cool down because it's super hot, and go from there. Also, I had a coolant leak. I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. I couldn't figure out where the coolant leak was coming from, but it was actually this clamp here. So I tightened it, and it looks to be dry now. I thought it was leaking from the reservoir at first, but it looked like from the clamp. I tightened it, and problem solved. Well, there it is. Don't judge the welds, but it's in there. I'm gonna redo this whole exhaust eventually, and I'm gonna go with the X pipe. Everybody's been saying in the comments that I should do either H pipe or X pipe, and I already have an X pipe from a Mustang GT, so that's what I'll go with, and then I'll redo the exhaust going over the axle eventually. So we'll get to that later. But right now, I'm gonna go ahead and put the sensor in to the new home, and we're gonna start it up and see what the air fuel ratio reads now. Let's do it. I'm not sure how, but somehow my new sensor ended up almost touching the frame. It's not touching, and I pretty much almost have solid mounts, so I don't think it's gonna be a problem. But it is welded and installed and plugged in and zip tied. So we're good to start. Let's see what we read now on the gauge. Here we go. Alright. 14.5. Okay, let's try it. There we go. Oh, what? It's still reading crazy high. So, I think I need to take it on the drive, but it's been kind of raining lately. And right now it's not raining, but when I turn the wipers on, this wiper arm in here is hitting the fuel rail, which is a big no-no. So I need to figure something out with that, just so I have wipers and I can drive this thing in the rain. So I need to figure something out. Okay, so here's what I got with the wipers situation. I shimmed it, but I shimmed it a little too much. Now the cowl goes up and down, but it's gonna work for now, just in case it does rain. It doesn't hit the fuel rail anymore. But I'll come up with something better. I think I'm just gonna raise the motor, the wiper motor, up about a ½ inch, and it's gonna work just fine. But for right now, we got wipers, so we can go on a test drive. I'm gonna try to do a 0 to 60 real quick. Let's see what we got. Dang, it was doing a burnout to like 40 miles an hour. I didn't realize it lost traction. That's crazy. Wow, this thing's got some torque. This thing's got some good torque. The fuel air ratio is just, I don't know what's going on with it, but it's just not showing what it needs to be showing. Kind of sucks, but man, this thing's got some crazy torque. Like I basically just floored it and it was just burning. I had to let off a little bit and then get into it again. So I found this this hood scoop. It's fiberglass and it's 28 or 38 inches long, 26 and 5 inches wide and 5 inches high. It looks like it's gonna work perfect because 38, it'll cover that way, and then it's 26 and a half this way, so that covers that hole up. So it's perfect, and I can actually cut more on this side because it's still hitting this boot. So I'm gonna go ahead and order it, and I don't know if I'm gonna make it permanent or removable. I'm not sure about that. I might have it removable just in case if I ever want to go to like a car meet or something and just remove it. so you can see the engine. I think that would be cool. So I'm just gonna go ahead and place an order for it right now, and hopefully we'll have it in the next few days. So that's gonna be it for this video, because the gauge that I got for air fuel ratio is faulty. The gauge, it works, the gauge itself works fine, but the sensor seems like it's not reading, because when I turn ignition on, it shows 14.5, and then without even starting the engine, it shoots up to like past 18, and so it doesn't work. And after some troubleshooting, it turns out that the sensor actually is bad straight out of the box. I bought this brand new off Amazon because I wanted to get it quicker, but it's actually holding me back. So I did order another one of these, same kind. Hopefully that one's gonna be good. And for some reason now they are half price on Amazon. Wonder why. This was like almost $200, and I just paid $103 for one just like it. So I'm gonna return this one. I didn't damage it or anything. It's just a bad sensor, and I don't think they can just replace just the sensor. So I ordered a whole new one, and when that comes in, I'm gonna put that in, which is gonna be easy because everything's already pre-drilled and pre-wired, sort of. So it's gonna be pretty easy to do. And once we know what the fuel air ratio is, I'm gonna go ahead and strap it to the dyno, and the tune's gonna continue. And huge thanks to Nick at Whipple Superchargers for stepping up and actually helping me tune this thing. No one else wanted to do it. I asked a few people, and nobody thought they could handle it, I guess. Or I mean, it's something new. So thanks to Nick at Whipple Superchargers for helping me out. Stay tuned for more. It's weird when somebody comes in. I'm done.
Sorry. I was just...
Return.
That's it?
Return.
You're done?
Yeah. You got another Red Bull?
This is the one you got me.
Oh, really?
I don't need it. I had one from home earlier.
Kiss it.